Hey everybody out there, my name is Dragnix, and this is a 5-minute review of Persona 5. But before I begin this review, this copy of the game was obtained via Play Asia for review purposes, but that won't change my opinion of the game in the end. Persona 5 brings back style to the Japanese RPG with a killer presentation, along with improvements to an interesting combat system that's slightly off the norm when it comes to the genre. It was clear from the get-go that Atlus and the Persona team put their heart and soul into this iteration of the game, and the polish that every element of this game has shines through to be one of the best Japanese RPGs I've ever played. The story follows Joker and the Phantom Thieves in an attempt to reform society as they steal the treasures of some of the most wicked figures in this fictional modern-day Japan. The story lives on the strength of its characters, who are simple yet interesting, and more importantly, relatable. You'll want to see these characters go through their struggles and overcome their adversities, and you will feel a lot of emotions by the time you're done, especially in Futaba's section of the story. It's also nice to see that the game has really put effort in tying the relationship and confidant systems to affect the gameplay and how well you do in combat. Each character you make a friendship or romance with can help you with new abilities, weapons, or even items to get you through some of the tougher parts of the game. And every decision you make does actually affect how well you get through the game. The narrative and the weaving of that is so strong that I'm having trouble of thinking of a game that has done it better than Persona 5 has. Combat is focused on elemental weaknesses, buffs, and adjusting on the fly to the change in the combat situation, and there's no typical grinding scene in jRPGs here, at least in my opinion. The game will keep you on your toes, as no fight, even the smaller ones, can be taken lightly in the main dungeons. And I love the fact that the game puts an emphasis on the toll of each fight with the way its dungeons are designed. This game is a war, and sometimes retreating to recover is as important as making a little bit more of progress. The key word of Persona 5 is balance. With all the systems that it has and all the different ways to go at enemies, it could have been easy for the game to become one-sided, in especially one area, making it a lot easier to get through the game and ignore other gameplay paths. But from what I see, the Persona 5 team has done a masterful job of balancing every key element so that you have multiple different playstyles, but each of them can be enjoyed from beginning to end. The biggest complaint that I have is that sometimes information about certain mechanics can only really be seen after experiencing them, and after you make that decision, it's sorta too late to go back on it. The game is definitely replayable in a lot of ways in these cases, but you'll want to keep multiple save files for the first run, just in case you make a bad decision and lock yourself into a corner, unable to continue without major consequences. But that's part of Persona 5's charm in a way, that you can still make it via subpar decision making, and that this experience is your own. You will jump for joy as a confidant you put so much effort into ends up saving your life. And it's the kind of game you'll talk about at the water cooler with others for days and days. All of that is complemented with a jazzy soundtrack that gets you into the mood of the game rather easily, and it will have you adding those music pieces to your music player almost immediately. On top of that, this game has one of the best UIs seen in any video game ever, as every element of the menu, icons, and the transitional screens flow from one state to the next rather easily. Every graphic designer will drool over this game, and for good reason. With all that in mind, Persona 5 comes out as the front runner for my Game of the Year, scoring the highest base score given to a game on this channel, at a 98 out of 100, meaning it is a must-buy, even if you're hurting for cash. And for those interested, here are my score enhancers for the game. Learn about their purpose with my scoring video located in the description below. Anyway, if you want to know more about this game, refer to my hour-long version of this review, where I go into a lot more detail about the game. Anyway, I will see you all later, and as always, keep on gaming.